Mimi Walters. Our next speaker, David Min.
You guys should all listen. This is really important. This is a tax cut that is being disguised as healthcare reform. Anyways, my name is Dave Min. I'm a law professor. I'm also a resident and voter in this district. And I should say at the outset that these are obviously my personal views and not the views of UC Irvine or the law school. I've spent my career studying economic policy and markets, and I'm here to tell you that the American Health Care Act, or as it's been called, Trumpcare, stinks to high heaven. So let me start by quoting a Republican congressman. This is a bill that was written by and for the insurance lobby. Trumpcare is basically a gigantic tax cut for the top 0.1% and for the insurance companies, paid for by all of the rest of us. We'll all end up paying more for less health care coverage. 10 million people will lose that coverage altogether. All so that Donald Trump, Mimi Walters, and their rich friends and health insurance buddies can get more tax cuts. Now, you've seen some of these estimates, but I'll run through them again for you. If Trumpcare becomes law, 6 million people will be cut off from Medicaid. An additional 4 million people, primarily young people like all you, will end up losing your health care or paying more for health care, on average $1,600 per year. Older Americans will be particularly hard hit, as they'll end up paying much, much more for their health care, and insurers will be allowed to charge them more simply because of their age. For example, a 64-year-old making $15,000 a year is going to end up paying almost $10,000 more a year for health care, according to the AARP. Insurers are going to be able to resume discriminating against people based on pre-existing conditions, and millions of women will lose access to basic health care services like maternity care, birth control, and preventative screenings. And everyone else that's a woman is going to have to pay much, much more for these basic benefits. That's outrageous, particularly on today of all days, International Women's Day. So who benefits from Trumpcare? Because it's not all of us. You know, it's not the doctors. They still end up treating people in emergency rooms and urgent care. And that's why the American Medical Association has come out in opposition to Trumpcare. It's not the hospitals. They incur higher costs from having to treat people in the emergency room, and then they end up passing the costs along to the rest of us. And that's why, by the way, the American Hospital Association has opposed Trumpcare. It's not those of us who have insurance. Our costs are going to go up and our coverage is going to be narrowed. And that's why the AARP, the Cancer Action Network, the American Heart Association, the American Lung Association, the March of Dimes, and every other major group that cares about health care and the health of American people have come out in opposition to Trumpcare. No, the only people who benefit from Trumpcare are Donald Trump and his rich crony friends. The top 0.1% will get an average tax cut of $200,000 a year, and you can bet that they're going to funnel that back to people like Donald Trump and Mimi Walters in the form of political contributions to help rig the system against people like us. Health insurance companies, you may have heard this, will get a huge tax break for paying their top executives more than $500,000 a year. That's just outrageous. So this benefits a few people and hurts the rest of us. But what are the effects on the economy? And the honest answer is that we have no idea what the effects on the economy will be. And that's because they are rushing this bill through Congress as fast as they can. They've had 6 years to think about and devise a replacement to the Affordable Care Act. They introduced this bill on Monday, and they are rushing it through committee as we speak. So as we speak right now, Mimi Walters and her colleagues in the House are putting this bill through something called markup. They're trying to rush this through Congress as fast as they can before the rest of us have a chance to really seriously look at it. So normally a bill this important gets subjected to review by folks like at the Congressional Budget Office or the White House's Office of Management and Budget. And a number of other nonpartisan groups put it to a serious economic analysis. How many jobs will be lost? What will be the overall impact on the budget or taxes? We don't have any such estimates because Republicans like Mimi Walters refuse to allow the CBO and OMB to review this bill. And so right now, we just know that this bill is likely to be bad. One recent estimate that was just tweeted out about an hour ago was that this will cost 350,000 jobs in California alone. I don't know how many people will lose their insurance coverage here, but ultimately what you're going to end up seeing is people, millions of people, 10 million people again, will lose their coverage in the United States. The rest of us will have to pay much, much more. Many, many people will die, all so that a few people can get tax cuts. So I would ask Congresswoman Walters, have you considered how many lives will be lost with this proposal if it gets passed? I would plead with you all, please call Mimi Walters' office. Tell her we need a serious economic analysis of this bill before it is voted on. We need to know how it will impact our district, because right now if you call her, she will not be able to give you an honest answer on how it will affect our district because she doesn't know. Nobody knows. Thank you very much. Woo!